Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
All right, so I'm recording this particular episode as I'm driving to spin class and have a sitter. My husband is out of town right now, and my kids are still on Christmas holidays. And one was at a day camp, my oldest. My little guy is 5, and he's not old enough for it yet, and so it has been a challenge. Let's just call it that, a challenge. It's been hard. So if you're listening to this and it's still over the break, or you have sick kids and you know what that's like, right? Of course we're going to be there. Of course we're caring for our kids. Of course we love our kids, but it is hard. And so here's where I'm going to talk about the purpose of forgiveness and why it's so important, and that forgiveness really starts in this place, which is forgiving ourselves. So particularly if you are a parent, a mother, a father, that parenthood brings a lot of challenges, a lot of joys, a lot of blessings, all of that, right? A lot of lessons in parenting. But it also brings a lot of stress, a lot of guilt, so let me just kind of roll down how this went today. So I have set I don't want to say it's a resolution, but it's an intention. It's not even a goal. I mean, I guess it's kind of, but one of my intentions for this first quarter is I find myself at times, I'm getting much, much better, but I can lose my cool a little bit, No excuses. I own that shit. And so I don't feel good when I do it with anybody, but particularly with my kids. And again, it's been dramatically different over the last, oh my gosh, I'd say 5 to 6, 7 weeks or so. 6 weeks for sure, 5, 6 weeks. But I still find myself going there, at times, or I want to, or and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna kind of just really make this as a challenge. I'm not gonna yell at my kids for the next 90 days. From January 1 till March 31st, I'm not gonna yell at my kids at all. And my strategies for it are, because I know too throughout the day, right? Because when you set a goal, it has to be measurable, right? And so if I just go on and be calm and stuff, it's no, the goal is no yelling. I don't usually recommend when I work with clients that you set a goal as to not do something, right? In other words, if you said, well, I'm going to have no junk food. If you instead really turn that into the affirmative and say you know what, I'm going to pick healthy choices, and here's how I'm defining what that is, right? It just has a different spin. When we start to say no to something, sometimes we feel deprived and we rebel against it. We think, well, I want to have that, so I can't have this, and I can't, It's no, you turn around. But for this one, it was a no yelling. And today is day 4. And it's day 3, because today's January 3rd as I record this episode. And I yelled at my son Tyson today. So now I'll just kind of give a little bit of the rundown. This does not give me a justification, by the way, or an excuse at all. As I'm teaching my kids, because my little guy yells all the time now, all the time. Now, he's 5, he's super sassy, but he gets frustrated really easily. They're off routine because they're not at school, right? But bedtime and stuff like that doesn't really veer that far off for us with our kids. But it's just sleeps a little bit later and doesn't have his little buddies around and stuff. And so he's been yelling. And my oldest guy, Tyson, who is 8, he can go there too, but he's definitely matured a lot and much better with that. And so I'm trying to teach them both. Listen, the most powerful person in the room is not the one who yells. It's the one who's calm. And think of what it feels like in your body when you yell, or you kind of lose it, or you get really angry. It feels shitty, right? It does not feel good. And so we talked about all those things, and with today, I go to pick up Tyson at this day camp at our local community center that they've got for kids over the Christmas break. And Kai insisted on coming in because I'm with Kai. So I was usually just kind of leaving the car, run in and grab Tyson. But no, he wanted to come in. I'm like, okay, Kai, so just don't touch anything. Well, of course, what do you do? He came in, he goes in the room. Tyson's got some car that all the kids are playing with, and Kai takes it from him. So what does Tyson do? Tyson pushes him down to the floor. Now, he's 5, and Tyson is 8. Now, Tyson is definitely taller than him. It's interesting because they're probably around the same weight, because Tyson, who again is 8, but like he's just such a lean kid. And excuse me, I want to unbuckle my seatbelt as I pull up to spin class here a little bit early and finish recording this podcast. So he pushes me down the cement floor, right? And I've been dealing with a lot of other stuff right now and lots of stress and lots of things going on. And so, again, no excuse. I don't say those things as justifications or reasons. But he pushes him down just like, boom, right? And I'm like, Tyson, and I yelled at him, and he's like, everything's very dramatic with Tyson. He's a lot like me. He can be very reactive, and so it just kind of spun out from there. And as I'm taking him out, and then I throw in these pieces of, now I feel embarrassed because they yelled at my kids in front of all these other kids and the counselors, and like, right? You know those moments that you have. And here's the thing too, it's like, it is natural for you to have those moments. Everybody's going to lose their cool sometimes. Now, if you're doing it often, it's not good, right? But listen, everybody has these things and they make mistakes, and we need to give ourselves grace, and we need to forgive ourselves for these things. So what happens when we don't forgive ourselves? Well, I can just let you know with clients and personal experiences, if we don't let those things go, it starts to build inside of us, right? If we don't forgive ourselves for whatever stuff, for the mistakes of like being human, for Christ's sakes, right? Being human. Humans screw up. Humans make choices and go, oh my God, why did I do that, right? It's how we learn. It's how we grow. If you're not making mistakes, I'm going to kind of venture out there and say you're not really... Listen, I don't know this for sure, so I'm going to say there is a possibility that you are playing life super safe. Because you don't want to upset anybody, you don't want to rock the boat, you don't want to, don't want to take any risks, all these things. But when you choose to jump into life in a different way of like, okay, well, I'm going to do these things because this is who I am, and I can still do it with kindness, but I recognize that some people just aren't going to like me. You can go to iTunes and read some of the nasty reviews that people have written about me, right? Like, it's going to happen when you put yourself out there, when you do something that, is scary and it's hard and it's like all those things, right? So I digress back to there, but so this happened, right? This happened. And I'm sorry, hold on. So forgiveness, when you do not forgive yourself, it starts to build up. Self-loathing, self-hatred, the negative the self-talk inside your head. I suck. I suck as a mom. I suck as a wife. I'm a loser. I suck in business. I should, like, just all the stuff where your mind is lying to you, where your ego has just like completely hijacked love and it's just going off on you, right? You know what that is, don't you? Because we've all done that before. It's all happened to us. And so when we don't heal those pieces of us, then the anger, the resentment we have for ourselves, the guilt for the choices, well, now it starts to be, in my experience and with clients, it's like now it's projected outwards, right? Because it's like that's energy inside you. It has to go somewhere. And one of the easiest things to do is like anger, right? Anger can have a purpose. It's okay to be angry. It's a normal emotion. But when you now start projecting and putting that onto other people, and the thing that I've really learned more recently is that anger is actually a secondary emotion. Underneath anger is fear, or more commonly hurt. Right? Think of something like bullies. They hurt other people. It's like they're hurting inside. Like that's what that is. They just have this inside, and the anger is a way to move that emotion out. And so if we don't forgive ourselves, it just starts to manifest and build into all this other shit. So I learned something from my good friend Jill Ethier, who has a podcast, by the way, called Ninja Jill Knows. Ninja Jill Knows. If you don't listen to her podcast, go ahead and subscribe right now because you will love her. Very, very dear friend. And she taught me something a little bit over a year ago that I incorporated at one of my live events at the time, called Ho'oponopono. It is a Hawaiian prayer that you say, and the person that created this, this is going to sound kind of a little bit out there. I'm just going to say it anyways, though, but he was working in a mental hospital, and he simply, by forgiving himself, again, this is kind of the way that the story is told, healed every single patient who no longer had any mental issues. By forgiving himself, because again, understand like the impact of how we show up in the world, the impact of what we feel about ourselves, the impact of how we now take the stuff inside of us and we now move throughout the world. It affects us, whether or not that you realize it or not. And we are all connected on this planet, sister. All of us. All of us. All of us. All of us. And so what Ho'oponopono does is just, it allows you to really begin to forgive yourself. And so here's how it goes. There's 4 things that you say. It is a prayer, and you say it over and over and over. So here's how it goes. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Let me do that again. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. If there's a record for how much that you can, because now Jill and I, it's like a verb. Like, I'm going to go ho'oponopono. Like, it's a noun, but if there's a record for how much that you can ho'oponopono, I might be up there. I'm just telling you. I've been doing this a lot over the last 3-4 weeks. And what it does is it allows you to begin to let go of all this stuff within you. And by the way, when you say it to yourself. So for me, because I at times, like when I say it, and it's like I just say it over and over and over and over again. You know, like Catholics, they have like certain prayers they kind of say, or with the beads, like the rosary, like that kind of thing. It's kind of like that, right? But you say it to yourself. And so what I find has been helpful for me is I sometimes will insert my name into it. So to make sure I am directing it, because I almost will be like, I'll go throughout, like if I'm, with the kids, I'm kind of like, you can say it in your head, by the way, or out loud. Out loud, I just feel has a bigger effect, but I don't think it does, but that's just kind of me. But I will say my name. So I might say like, I love you, Karen. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you, Karen. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Or I love you. I'm sorry, Karen. Like I might attach my name onto like one of the 4 phrases, right? And what you will find is that you just keep saying it and saying it and saying it. It helps to clear the space and to clear the energy. And you just keep saying it until it feels like, and so right now actually too, Jill's taking a certification Ho'oponopono that she can now use with some of her programs and her clients, which is awesome. So basically what she's saying is that like it kind of like it cleans the space. It's kind of like it just scrubs clean all of the stuff inside of you and then the space and who you interact with, right? Because the biggest piece is this, is that there's going to be people in this world that piss us off, that hurt us, that upset us, and we can hold on to that resentment. And I was talking to my oldest son, Tyson, again, he's 8, about a week or so ago, and he's like mad at his brother. They're brothers and they fight and like whatever, siblings, right? And he's like, I'm going to hold on to that. And I go, well, Tyson, you know Buddha, right? He's like, yeah, because we have like a little Buddha statue in our home. I go, well, Buddha was actually a real person who said really wise stuff. And it's kind of like this. It's like holding on to like anger, or I'm going to also say like resentment, right? Like anger is like holding on to hot coal. And he's like, well, and I'm like, what that means, Tyson, is like, if you hold on to hot coal, like you're going to get burned, right? It's going to affect you. So when you hold on to that stuff, like sure, it might affect the other person, but it affects you. You're the one holding on to it. So Ho'oponopono is really a way for you to forgive yourself so that you also have the ability to forgive others. Now that's my kind of like rote thing of it. I'm sure that Jill, with her certification she's doing right now, like it's deeper than that, but that's really the gist of it. And you don't have to, because I know it's funny, she's taking the course and people were saying like, well, what if you do this way? It's like, just say the prayer. Well, how about this? Just say the prayer. Just say it. That's it. Just say it. And it's to yourself. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. So here is your more tip for today. I want you to write down those 4 phrases. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And put it somewhere. And when you feel anxiety, when you feel stress, when you feel, just going through some stuff, this can be your touchstone, sister. That you say this over and over and over and over and over. Can be in your head and over and over and over again. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And then what I think would be cool to do is after a week of this, because we all have stresses in our daily lives, all stuff that comes up, it's just a journal about this. What has it been like for you to have this? Just prayer for me is a newer thing. I'd say over the last maybe 9 months, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. And so I like it as a little piece in my prayer arsenal, as you will, that I have that I can pull from. And it's just been incredibly helpful for me to be able to just clear that space, forgive myself, and to begin to continue to move forward and to understand that we are all human. Part of the human experience is to mess up, is to make mistakes, is to trust that mistake got me to here, that got me to here, that got. So there you go, sister. Now listen, a couple things finishing up. Number one, if you don't already subscribe to the Women Want More newsletter, I want you to do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 things today, right now, because I'm rolling out some really exciting stuff for 2019, starting about the 3rd week in January. And the newsletter is where you're going to get, you'll get everything in there. So head over right now to drkarenosburn.com/newsletter. So that's /action guide. So DRKARENOSBURN.com/action guide. I'm going to send you some cool training videos as well as part of that. Number 2, there are 7 Women Wanting More limited edition journals left that I'm shipping out for free anywhere in the world except South Africa. I am so sorry, but every single one that I've sent to South Africa gets sent back months later. I have no idea why. Most other countries have been no problem. So if you are not in South Africa, it is a green light. And how you get yours is go to drkarenosburn.com/free journal. And then lastly, I would love for you to join the 125 other women that are inside a new Facebook community, a free community, which is called The Journey to Feminine. So here's what I want you to do. And this is a discussion for us really what does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be feminine? How do I get there? There's a lot of women that I've discovered that are like me, that are kind of I don't know what this is, and I don't feel like other women, and I feel like an oddball and all this kind of stuff. And so these are the discussions and the conversations that are coming up. And within that group, and also with the newsletter, you're going to hear about this as well too, is I'm creating a 21-day challenge to really begin to set some goals, whether it is about womanhood, whether it is about forgiving yourself, whether it is about relationships or work or health or anything else, and to really learn some of the just incredibly valuable tools for making this happen. Because I've been asking a lot of you the questions of hey, how does it work for you for goals? And what's it like? And what are the obstacles? And it's a lot of the same themes. And I'm oh my God, I can help you all so much with this in very simple ways. And so that challenge is coming soon. So you're going to hear about the Journey Feminine because you're going to get first dibs there. You can also hear about it on the newsletter. So to be able to join the Facebook group, because the URL is way too long, facebook.com/groups. Okay, so just go to Facebook, go to the search bar at the top left and type in The Journey to Feminine and request to be added to the group. All right, sister, I'm going to go spin. So I will talk to the next episode. A life of more is one step away of you forgiving yourself every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.